Have you ever heard about the chilling case of Chris Watts, the man who shocked the world with his heinous crimes? This is a tale that paints a grim picture of the fatal consequences of attempting to salvage a marriage with a narcissistic partner. Chris Watts, a seemingly normal family man from Colorado, was thrust into the global spotlight in a most horrifying way. He was a husband and a father of two beautiful young girls, a man who, on the surface, appeared to lead an idyllic life. But beneath this facade of normalcy, a sinister plot was being hatched, a plot that would shatter the illusion of his perfect family life and cast a long, dark shadow over the Watts name. In the summer of 2018, the world was shocked to learn that Chris Watts had brutally murdered his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their two young daughters, Bella and Celeste. The Watts family, who had once been the picture of suburban bliss, was now at the center of a horrifying true crime story. As details of the case emerged, the depth of Chris Watts's deceit became all too apparent. This was a man who had lived a double life, hiding his infidelity and his growing resentment towards his family behind a mask of normalcy. But the facade couldn't hold forever. Fueled by narcissistic tendencies, Watts chose a path of destruction instead of facing the consequences of his actions. The shocking actions of Chris Watts send a chilling message about the dangers of narcissistic abuse. Here was a man who had convinced those around him of his love for his family, yet he was capable of committing the most atrocious acts against them. It's a stark reminder that behind the most charming smiles and promises of love, there may lurk a narcissist capable of unimaginable harm. This case is not just a shocking crime story, but a stark reminder of the dangers of narcissistic abuse. As we delve deeper into the Chris Watts case, we'll explore the terrifying dynamics of his marriage, the toxic cycle of abuse, and the tragic escalation that led to the untimely demise of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste Watts. Behind the picture-perfect facade of the Watts family, a dark reality lurked. Chris Watts, like many narcissistic individuals, was a master of illusion. He presented the image of a loving husband and doting father, a man who seemed to have it all. His marriage to Shanann appeared to be the epitome of domestic bliss, complete with smiling family photos and heartfelt social media posts. But beneath this veneer of perfection, a far more sinister narrative was unfolding. Deception is a common thread in the lives of narcissists. They often portray themselves as the ideal partner, creating a mirage of love and happiness that can be incredibly convincing. But this illusion is just that, an illusion. It's a carefully constructed facade designed to manipulate others and maintain control. Chris Watts was no exception. His outward persona was a carefully curated mask, hiding his true nature and the darkness within. He manipulated those around him, convincing them of his sincerity and the authenticity of his marriage. This is a classic narcissistic tactic, and it's one that can be dangerously deceptive. This illusion of a perfect marriage can be incredibly damaging. It can make it difficult for those entangled in the narcissist's web to see the truth. It can cause them to overlook red flags, to ignore their gut feelings, and to rationalize the narcissist's behavior. In the case of Chris Watts, his wife Shanann was tragically blind to the danger she and her children were in. The story of Chris Watts serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of narcissistic individuals and the illusion of a perfect marriage. It highlights the importance of acknowledging and addressing red flags, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. It's a cautionary tale that warns us of the potential consequences of ignoring these warning signs in an attempt to salvage a relationship. The illusion of a perfect marriage can sometimes mask a disturbing reality. It's crucial to remember that not everything is as it appears, and that beneath a picture-perfect surface, a storm may be brewing. In the Watts marriage, a sinister pattern of narcissistic abuse was at play. Their relationship was a chilling demonstration of the dangerous dance between a narcissist and their unsuspecting victim. Central to this toxic dynamic were the tactics of gaslighting and manipulation. Gaslighting, a term derived from the 1944 film Gaslight, refers to a form of psychological manipulation where the abuser makes the victim question their own reality. It's an insidious tactic, often employed subtly and gradually, until the victim finds themselves in a fog of confusion and self-doubt. In the case of Chris Watts, he had mastered this art of psychological deception. He'd weave a tapestry of lies, then distort and reshape the truth to fit his narrative. He'd deny events, contradict himself, and make Shanann question her own perceptions and memory. This constant distortion of reality was an attempt to gain power and control, to keep Shanann off balance and dependent on him for her sense of reality. But gaslighting wasn't the only weapon in Watts's arsenal. He employed manipulation too, using emotional coercion to control and exploit Shanann. He'd oscillate between expressions of love and cold indifference, keeping her in a constant state of emotional upheaval. This love-bombing and devaluation cycle is a common tactic used by narcissists to maintain control over their victims. The psychological toll of these tactics is profound. Victims often feel a heightened sense of anxiety and depression. They may struggle with self-esteem issues, feeling as though they're walking on eggshells, always second-guessing themselves. It's a form of mental torture, a slow erosion of their self-confidence and autonomy. The impact doesn't end there. The psychological warfare of gaslighting and manipulation can leave lasting scars. It can lead to long-term emotional trauma, with victims often suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, complex PTSD, and other mental health issues. The damage inflicted is deep, pervasive, and often tragically invisible to the outside world until it's too late. In the Watts case, the toxic cycle of narcissistic abuse escalated to a horrifying climax. A seemingly perfect family facade was shattered when Chris Watts, a man enveloped by his own narcissism, committed an unthinkable act. This tragedy is an extreme yet stark example of the potential dangers of staying in a relationship with a narcissistic individual. Narcissistic abuse can often lead to a profound psychological toll on the victim, making it difficult for them to leave the relationship. Over time, this toxic dynamic can escalate, culminating in severe outcomes. The Watts case is an illustration of this escalation, where the desire to maintain an illusion of harmony led to a heart-wrenching tragedy. The danger lies not just in the narcissist's inability to truly love or empathize, but in their capacity to harm, manipulate, and control. It is a chilling reminder that behind the mask of a narcissist, there can lurk an insidious danger. Narcissistic abuse can escalate, leading to unthinkable consequences. In hindsight, the signs were there, but recognizing red flags isn't always easy. Narcissistic behavior often disguises itself in a cloak of charm, charisma, or even intense love. Yet, beneath these seemingly attractive traits lie subtle signs of manipulation and control. The first red flag to watch out for is a lack of empathy. Narcissists, like Chris Watts, often struggle to empathize with others, making it difficult for them to understand or care about your feelings. They may dismiss your emotions or belittle your experiences, leaving you feeling invalidated. Next is the constant need for admiration. Narcissistic individuals crave recognition and praise. They're often preoccupied with their achievements, expecting you to admire them without question. This can create a lopsided dynamic where your needs and accomplishments are sidelined. Lastly, watch out for gaslighting, a manipulative tactic narcissists use to make you question your reality. They may deny things they've said or done, distort facts, or blame you for their mistakes. This can lead you to doubt your memory, perception, or sanity. The risks of trying to save a relationship with a narcissistic partner are grave. It can lead to psychological harm, erosion of your self-esteem, and in extreme cases, as in the Chris Watts case, it can escalate to unimaginable tragedy. Recognizing red flags early can be the first step towards safety. There is a way out. There is a path to safety and healing. It's important to remember, no matter how trapped you may feel in a toxic relationship, you are not alone, and there is always a way out. Prioritizing your safety is paramount. This may mean having a safety plan or a trusted group of people who can help you navigate this challenging time. Breaking free from a narcissistic abuser isn't easy. It requires courage, strength, and oftentimes external support. Reach out to trusted friends or family members, lean on them for support, and if possible, seek professional help. Therapists, counselors, and support groups can provide essential tools and resources to aid in your healing journey. There are also numerous online resources available that are dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse. Websites like the National Domestic Violence Hotline offer a wealth of information, including how to recognize the signs of abuse, how to safely leave an abusive situation, and where to find local support services. Remember, healing is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. It's okay to grieve, it's okay to feel angry, It's okay to take your time. The important thing is to keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. In the face of narcissistic abuse, remember, you have the power to break free, to heal, and to reclaim your life.